Paul wrote a letter to his friend 2 Timothy, the younger brother is 1 Timothy. And in the 3rd chapter, verses 16 and 17, he says, "All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works." Okay, New Testament Christians, so every verse from Matthew 1 to Revelation 22, right? About this New Testament Christian thing. It's a bit redundant, don't you think? Without the New Testament, there would be no Christians. But what about the Old Testament? If you're only interested in the New Testament, I have to wonder if you like to walk in on movies 2/3 of the way through and then think you understand what's going on. If you don't know the Old Testament, you don't understand the New Testament. Now, I'm happy to apply this verse to the New Testament by extension. But have you ever considered that when Paul wrote this, much of the New Testament hadn't even been written yet? Especially 2 Timothy chapter 4 on. And what was written hadn't been recognized as scripture yet. Do you really think that Paul was just referring to some letters that he was writing to his friends? The scripture that existed at that time was the Old Testament. So why do some pastors say that you don't need to study the Old Testament? Do you realize that about 1/3 of the New Testament is made up of quotes from the Old Testament? Now, I used to not enjoy those parts as much. They were referring to scripture that I wasn't as familiar with, so, I couldn't relate. Some of the Old Testament, especially the prophets, is hard to understand. But that's why you need to study it and not just skim it. And then when you encounter Jesus or Paul or Peter quoting an Old Testament passage that you recall reading and perhaps have puzzled over, you get these aha moments as you realize that's what that passage was talking about. So, thanks for watching. And as always, if you got any benefit out of this, I'm asking you to like and subscribe. I think that you should do it. Capiche? Ciao.